Hello everyone, it's Ranger at 64, and welcome back to another League of Legends lore reading video. Today, we will be reading another League of Legends universe story, this time by Rosen, The Feast of the Prophet. Mir follows a crowd of cultists out of the Prophet's tent city and down into a low valley at the edge of the desert. He is unsure if this was the right decision. Beyond the outcropping of rock where tonight's sermon will be held is he's not sure how to describe it other than hole, descending deep beneath the Cereman sands and into an emptiness that is both growing and alive. Throughout the day, these cultists throw livestock into the hole. They throw each other into the hole. Sometimes they throw themselves into the hole. And, from what Mir is told, the hole responds by growing steadily larger so more cultists can throw more animals and more people down into it. And it can keep growing. And the awful pattern can repeat itself until the hole is so large that something big will fall in, maybe even a city. Like Nashrame, he mutters. Though even if the entire state toppled, ports and all, it would barely graze the sides. He caught a glimpse of the hole earlier. It's too big to be real, and yet no one knows this is here, thinks Mir. But he's smart enough to keep everything to himself. He cannot risk these people turning on him, although he uses the word quote unquote people slightly and very lightly. Some of them have a deeper lavender glint behind their eyes that seems to spread over their faces in veiny, twisting patterns, and they mutter constantly about Ishta, or something called the Void. He cannot go back home. He's not even sure if his home still exists. Yet he cannot flee anywhere but further south, where the land turns gray and things named after old storybook monsters squirm across the rocks. Mir must keep running. If he stops, Noxus will find him, and because he struck an officer, they will kill him. Have you come to see the prophet? One man asked him, as the crowd shuffle into an open area similar to a theater stage. His skin shifts sickeningly beneath a tattered cloak. Mir sees some of the man's teeth moving inside his mouth. Yes, Mir replies, knowing the cultists won't let him through without hearing one of their ceremonies. The man laughs. You are new to the nameless city. Like many others, some seek the prophet, others seek nothing. It is all the same. He motions his face, which glows faintly in the night air. Do not be worried, my friend. Soon, soon you will understand. The prophet will show you. The evening stars, black and yawning and somehow closer than before, wink ominously above the crowd's makeshift lanterns. Beyond this light, there is the desert. Beyond that is the hole. And on the other side of the hole, freedom. Mir can almost taste it. Shurima is being swallowed up from three sides. In the north, Noxus spreads along the coast like a cancer, claiming everything from vast city-states to farming settlements of dozens of souls. In the ancient capital, the long-dead, now supposedly living again Emperor Azir is said to prepare for an inevitable war. And in the southeast, well, this is the southeast. These people are eating it. There has to be something beyond the hole, down along the gray, lifeless coasts at the Surmounts, tips of the Astrani Peninsula. A smuggler port, or maybe a stop-off for fishing ships from Bilgewater. Mir could catch a boat, start over again in the Serpent Isles, and then stop thinking, threatens the broken-faced man. Mir looks up and sees a dozen of pairs of shattered, glowing eyes looking back at him. Your thoughts are loud. Be silent. The man points to the outcropping, now the puppet of an encasement figure. Alzahar has come. The prophet is covered in scarves and cloaks crudely marked with the symbols of old Ishtar. His feet are bare, his hands seemingly frozen in a rigor mortis grip, as though he were trying to fend off something to kind of monstrous creature. His face was obscured by a long violet wrap, and his head. Mir feels something like a drill driven into his brain. He had a look for maybe a half a second into the prophet's face, and seen within his forehead something shifting. No, that can't be right. Right? That can't be right. Alzahar's entire skull was thin, fleshy webbing with something horrible inside. A light within a light, pulsating outward, spreading, hungry. My children, says Malzahar, though his voice is not a voice at all. It's a projection inside of Mir's thoughts, an extension of the prophet's unlight that is slick, glistening, and wrong. Mir has to get out of here, but he can't run. The cultists are packed too tightly, and he'd never make it around the great hole before they caught him and tossed him down. Tonight is a night of confession. Now it is too late. Malzahar sees Mir. Mir is not sure how, but amid the crowd of hundreds of prophets of people's cultists, Graze rips through him, holding his body in place. Mir cannot even let out a whimper. Ah, a newcomer, says Malzahar. Then let this be your awakening. There are flashes within Mir's mind, an amorphous shape looming behind the prophet and filling the entire night sky. Buildings, or something like buildings, but inverted and crooked beneath a vast, unnatural ocean. Thousands of ferocious creatures swimming in schools so large they block even the dample of light from the not sun, creating their own currents in the not water. And a name. A name that dances across the grooves of his brain like an acrobat, evasive but on the edge of realization. Believers, Malzahar continues, I have always told you that the end is certain. The void will come and wash away the world and all its miseries, and with it, each and every one of you. Mir's mind is ripping itself apart. Thoughts snapped in and out so quickly he can barely track what he's experiencing. Wings, spiders the size of wolves, a figure floating beneath Shurima, a confrontation. He sees Noxus consumed by an impossible wave of creatures, the immortal bastion cracking catastrophically before falling into the mass, ice breaking, things tumbling upwards and out. He sees Malzahar again, shadowed by a shape too large. Why is it so large? Why is she? She? But we are all changed by our experiences, are we not? I watched my parents die in Amakra, waste away to illness, yet they are not gone. Their memories serve a purpose, and the imprint they left on me made me what I am, and what I am made you. The shape looms larger. It's not physical, no, but Mir's mind holds desperately onto anything it can, something to anchor itself and escape the prophet's suffocating weight. The void has tasted these memories before, and it wants more. The cultists throw their arms upward, and the stars wink closer than ever before. Mir must hold on. Freedom is just beyond the chasm, he tries to think, but the words drain from his mind. Before him, before them all, is Malzahar. There is nothing else. The void has embraced a new form, a new possibility. I once saw the world end in the absence of light and darkness, the totally of nothing. And that was wrong. So tonight, to you, to all my children, I confess the void has spoken. And now, beneath her sea of lavender, she wants you, your memories, your experiences, existence. She wants everything. Mir only begins to run when the ground gives away under his feet. The chasm's sudden expansion swallows them all. The tent city, the cultists, everything, as Malzahar floats above, watching them all pour down into the throbbing, animated nothing. And, the prophet concludes, she will have it. Some of the cultists freeze mid-air, darkly luminous corals bursting from their skin before they are sucked into the undulating walls into the hole. More are torn limb from limb by fast-moving schools of strange, iridescent creatures and fishes. Others lose a scream before vanishing completely as though they suddenly erase. Mir's memories, like the stars above, wink out one by one as he falls faster and faster. The Noxian invasion, his hand striking an officer, his family, his friends, his childhood, his dreams. He drifts down beneath the lavender sea, past strange inverted buildings jutting awkwardly from the light-dappled nothingness beyond the void's hideous living sky, and he catches a glimpse of something massive on the verge of being born. As his memories fade, the shape seems to move, responding to this new source of sustenance, growing stronger as Mir, the cultists, the animals, the tents, as they all fade away, erased utterly from the gentle shores of reality, repurposed into something terrible and new. A man once named Mir closed his eyes, emitted of all things. He touches the bottom of the void, and then he is gone.